And just like that, this is another episode. You are currently in perspective, and today's episode is just going to be me by myself talking about a few things that I wrote down when it comes to me and doing photography as of late, which overall has not been much. I am very much planning on bringing Devin and my other friend Donovan, which we worked on Michael the Stapler, but recently we just haven't had the time with weather and all that stuff going on. We just haven't had the chance to really meet up and do that and find a time with me working and with them doing whatever. But for the time being, I really wanted to bring up this episode, and I'm going to cover a few things. It kind of ties in with my last episode with Hannah when we talked about insecurities and even finding inspiration in photography, and that's kind of where this one's going to lead to, is finding inspiration and trying to get inspired and trying to get creative with everything when it comes to photography, and recently for me, cinematography, and also writing. That's also a thing. There's a few ideas that I'm going to talk about in this episode when it comes to me creating different films, different videos. Speaking of which, if I'm pretty sure most of the people who listen to this podcast are on YouTube, but if you don't follow me or subscribe to me on YouTube, I tend to try to make as many videos as I can. And recently I've been trying my best to create more quality videos with like a story or an overall outline of a story for a video, rather than me just filming myself going into car dealerships. I've been trying to create more story driven videos, and it's time consuming, and it's also very taxing on me when it comes to trying to figure out what I want to do. But I'll cover that whole subject in a little bit. But for this episode, I'm going to feature or comment or bring up feeling low on inspiration and trying to find that new inspiration. Within this kind of happens, I've noticed this a lot when it comes to photography. There's always a couple months within the year where I just don't feel like doing anything when it comes to trying to create more. And I don't know if that's just me or other people, but there's this like laziness and this lack of motivation to even get up and even take out my camera. And speaking of which, I'm not even gonna lie, I haven't really properly used my camera for a genuine shoot or even for fun for the past week, which isn't that long, but when you don't use your camera for a week, it kind of, after you don't use your camera for a while, you just kind of fall into this slump, and the less you use it, the less you get motivated, and then you just fall into this abyss of not feeling like creating, which is kind of what I'm in right now. So with that being said, feeling low on inspiration is something that's going on with me right now, with me trying to create more videos and more films or whatever, which I have 3 ideas that I have cooking up right now, which I'll bring up later into more detail. But with that, it kind of limits me with also trying to find business with photography, because I've been so, so unmotivated to do anything. And with that being said, I just haven't had much motivation. I'm just going to keep saying motivation because I'm trying to find another word for that, but it's just a lack of motivation, really, to even go out. And it's also with the idea that I'm seeing all these photos of like all these people in like mountains and like waterfalls and all those like extravagant looking places, and I'm struggling to find places like that where I live. So seeing all those, it just kind of makes me discouraged to want to go out, because I'm not going to be able to take photos like that, even though that's what I want to take. And I've always told my friend Peyton, which I don't think he minds me name dropping him, but we've talked about going on like a road trip or a little bit of a cross country trip and kind of filming it, making a documentary and getting photos. And I think that would be a major breakthrough. I know it's like something a lot of photographers do, but I think it's one of those things that if you do it and you bring a friend or two along or a whole group, then it's going to be an experience. You're going to break out of that creative shell. You're going to experience and experiment with new things when it comes to photography, especially if you go on like a cross country trip. and then you can do like videos and get photos and anything in between, and that's so cool to think about. But with that being said, there's also the expense of trying to plan it out, trying to figure out when to do it, trying to figure out if we can do it, trying to figure out what car to take. Like, it's a lot of work, and then when you start to think about it, you just start to get overwhelmed, and then that's when, at least for me, it's like, I really want to do it, but I don't know if I'm ready to do it. The money with gas, that's going to get extremely expensive. That's going to get outrageous. And also trying to bring enough clothes. Like, it's one of those things. I've never been on a road trip, and I don't think any of my friends that I've been considering taking along with me have really been on a road trip like that. So it'd be an experience, but it would be tremendously horrifying to attempt. But that's something I've wanted to do for a very long time, and that's something I feel like would create a breakthrough, at least for me, because I would get to take photos, create a documentary or a film or something of some sort, and it would kind of flex my muscles when it comes to doing photography and cinematography, and I find that really inspiring. But like I said, it's also very overwhelming to think about how am I going to do it. So with that being said, as of right now, I am feeling this overwhelming feeling of not knowing what to do, and I've taken so many car photos recently. I'm getting kind of burnt out, which I never thought would be possible. I'm also just, it's not that I'm not inspired, it's just I want to go to these places, I just don't know how. Like, I know it's simple, but like everyone says, don't think, just do, and it's easier said than done, especially with money involved with it. Like with this podcast, I put it to the side for a few months, and I just decided to plug in my mic and just write down a few topics, and I just did it, and I've been enjoying it, even though I've only done 2 episodes, this one being the 3rd. But after I did that, it was kind of relieving. Is that a word? It was just this big, like, feeling of relief, I guess. Yeah, there we go. This feeling that I finally did it, and now that I'm comfortable doing it, and I kind of have a premise of what I want to do with it, it's kind of just like flow with it. And that's kind of what I have not been able to do with photography. There's points in photography where you'll hit these highs and then you'll hit these lows. And in these highs, you'll be getting gig after gig after gig, and then in these lows, you'll be going a month or 2, maybe even more than 2 months with absolutely no clients, no gigs, no money. And it gets kind of, I guess, depressing, really, because then it's just this feeling of, what am I doing wrong? What can I be doing? And I think that's something every photographer is going to face when they're first starting out. And your name's not like big like North Borders or Taylor Jackson or Chris Howe or anything like that, which they're all completely different photographers. Peter McKinnon, ooh, inspiration right there. That's anyway, but yeah, like North Borders is a tremendous car photographer. Taylor Jackson's a tremendous wedding photographer. Peter McKinnon is a great traveling photographer, nature photographer, or landscape photographer, whatever you want to call it. And they all have these specific types of photography, but they're constantly in like getting work, and that's exactly where I'm not at right now, is not getting work and not being able to find those clients and not being able to make a living off of it. And that's what's getting kind of depressing for me, at least, is just trying to figure out what I want to do to make enough money. And it's also that grind that you have to do, trying to go out and trying to get more business, which, speaking of which, I also made a new collage for my car photography. I'm planning on going out to dealerships soon, but I was going to do it this past week. Then that laziness came in, and I was like, I don't really know if I want to do it, because I was thinking the negatives. I was thinking, oh, it's going to be a waste of gas. Oh, I'm going to get no money out of it. And that's the mindset that I've been in, and you can't be in that mindset if you want to do stuff with your business when it comes to photography or cinematography or whatever it may be. You kind of have to just do it. You have to put away those negatives. If you lose money, or if you lose gas and you have to pay for gas and you're not getting anything in return, which I know is like a stupid example, but my car's MPGs are terrible, so it's kind of discouraging. But when you think of all these negatives, you don't think of the positives. The positives are, like when I worked for Kingstown, which I haven't worked for in a while, which is kind of sad, but I wasn't expecting to get business out of them, and it shocked me because it was the first place I went into for the day, and they wanted me to do business with them. I never would have expected that, and I wasn't anticipating it either. But if you don't, it's not that you have to expect it every time, because it's never gonna it's not always gonna happen that you're gonna get business every time you go into a place and ask for work. But the anticipation of it, of knowing, hey, I could get money today, I could get potential clients, that's what should be driving me, and that's what will be driving me hopefully soon once I get out of this stupid little rut. But as of right now, I'm just feeling low on inspiration and trying to find new inspiration when it comes to creativity. And that's where it's very, very overwhelming, just trying to figure out how do I really make this a business. And that's kind of where, like when I did this video shoot for a Volkswagen GLI or whatever, I got so much hype out of that. And I got a couple people wanting to do shoots. But one thing I've noticed within photography, and especially cinematography, people will ask for work. And they'll be like, okay, cool, what's the price? And then you tell them a price, and then they'll be like, okay, cool, let's do that. Then they just disappear. And that's happened with 3 people, and it's very strange. I don't know if that's like a completely normal thing within this industry, but it's very annoying when you're on this high and you have all this momentum going for you, and then you have these people who you think are going to build more momentum for you and build more hype for you and build more credit for you and build your portfolio, and then they just die. And it's very, very discouraging, and almost makes you kind of want to be like, wow, I just built something really cool and I'm not getting any recognition from it, and I'm not getting any more business from it. And I guess that's the negativity that I'm fueling myself with, is, oh, I'm not getting more business because, I don't know, because it was a one and done thing and nobody appreciates it. That's kind of how I felt about it for a while, and right now it's more or less just like, all right, now I gotta start back up. Where am I gonna build this more momentum? Where am I gonna build more potential clients? And I don't have an answer for that. I genuinely don't have anything to say furthermore for that. I don't have an answer to me saying, how do I build on that? Because I don't know. I haven't gotten there, and I don't know where to go from here. Like, where do I go? Like, I'm not new to this, but I'm new to the fact of making money off of it. And I can't completely, constantly be asking people, hey, can I shoot your car for free? I need to have people starting to come to me, asking me to do it for them so I can get financial support out of it, which I don't like having to say I want money out of what I do. But that's the thing. You can't make money off of what you do if you don't anticipate it. If you just completely ask people all the time, like, hey, can I do a shoot for you? Hey, can I do a shoot for you for free? You're going to run out of people in your local area that are willing to let you take photos of them. Like, sure, maybe there'll be more opportunities, but if you take photos of everybody's car within the area, you're going to run out of people that are willing to, that person you did a photo shoot for free, maybe down the line, or maybe later on, that could have been a potential customer that would have paid you good money for it, but since you already did it for free, they don't need a photographer anymore. So I feel this is a little bit off topic, but it's still relevant to what I'm saying. Do your free shoots for family, and then once you have a good enough portfolio that you feel comfortable enough charging for, don't do it for free anymore. That's the thing. I did that video shoot for the GLI for free, and it was a pain in the butt to edit and shoot because it was so cold. Did I get $1 out of it? No. Did I want any money out of it? Heck yeah, but I didn't. And that's where I kind of got frustrated, was because I put all this work into it. And even though that was one of my first genuine video shoots for a car, I still, in my opinion, you can agree, you can disagree, but if you're in a situation like I am where you've done hard work for someone and you get nothing out of it, you get this annoyance. It's like you just went out of your way, went out to a faraway location from where I live anyway, went out, freezed your tush off, got the shots, then went home edited them for like a good 12 hours and got nothing out of it. I almost got a potential two customers, maybe even three. One of them possibly could come through, but the rest didn't. So I'm trying to figure out, even though I did build my portfolio off of this, I didn't build a I didn't get any recognition from it. Like, I'll check his Instagram and see the comments he's getting on it, and people are like, "Yo, this is hype," but none of that recognition is coming to me. And until I do this as like a complete living, and I'm doing it day after day, and it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, another shoot, okay. But right now, all those comments, I very much appreciate them, but this may sound greedy, but any photographer can say they want recognition for the work they do. And you can't disagree with me on that one if you are in the industry. So, with that being said, I genuinely have fallen into a rut of not wanting to do much lately, and this is kind of where I've come up with a few video ideas, short film, like creative film ideas. I'm just gonna speak on them briefly because I don't want to like give away what I have in mind for it, but I'll give away kind of the idea of it, if that makes sense. So one of them, I kind of wanted to create a film on not finding it's completely how I feel all the time when it comes to stuff, is not finding a way or time to execute ideas, and how time as you get older seems to progress so much faster. And it seems like years are going by like months, and months are going by like days. And that's like this weird cycle that it just keeps getting faster and faster the older you get. And I wanted to create a film that portrays speed, and I wanted to kind of have like this like abstract sort of like sort of delusional sort of like background vocals, kind of like with me, but with like sound effects going like speed, 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 like having weird like almost kind of like what's the word hippies use. I'm just gonna say delusional. I can't think of the word, but it that kind of like crazy like loopy sort of vibe, but it's also gonna portray speed and how everything's going so fast, and how we need to slow down and kind of appreciate the work that we do, which is hard to do when you're on this wave. Like when I did this video, that wave lasted for like a week, but it didn't feel like a week because I was so high off the momentum that I didn't appreciate any of it as much as I should have. And that's kind of where that was one of the first film ideas that I got recently, more like a month ago. Then I have this second one, where it's kind of literally going to be based on this podcast almost. Not this podcast in general, but the topic. And it's going to be a short film idea that talks about finding inspiration. And it sounds lame, but I have ideas of how to make it creative and refreshing for a viewer to enjoy and watch. And that one's still in the works. I don't really have like complete ideas for it, but it's one of those things that I'm kind of like wanting to put on screen. And then there's this other one that I'm not going to get into because it's more or less just for fun. It's not going to really be for me to improve my skills, even though it will improve my skills. It's not meant to. But two of my friends, they're still in school. I'm not. Which now that I think about this is going to make me sound kind of weird, but I'm helping them with a school project on this short film because we did Michael the Stapler together, and these are the two dudes that I'm going to invite to do another podcast with. But they are doing a film on... We're writing a script for it, but I genuinely don't even know what it's about still. Even though I am doing, like, writing the script, I don't know why we're writing it, but it's basically going to be about North Korea. North Korea possibly bombing the U.S., and it's going to be like an SNL sort of thing. Is it going to come out good? Who knows? There's a couple, like, comedic elements in it, but I can't really speak on it because I don't even know how to explain it, which is kind of weird because I'm the one practically writing it right now, even though it is their project. I am helping them with that and doing the filming. But those are like the main things that are kind of I'm focused on right now. I don't really have any like future jobs right now, which is kind of annoying. I might have a future video shoot with a Mustang, but they have been very slow to respond, so I don't know what's going on with that right now. And with that, I also have, well, I don't have, but like I've mentioned earlier, I'm planning on going out to dealerships. And I also want to go out to like coffee shops and stuff like that and just build my name more or less as a photographer rather than just a car photographer. But this is where this podcast is honestly about to end, is because I haven't done anything recently, and I just wanted to speak on the annoying idea or the annoying fact that I've just been not doing much with photography lately. Yeah, I just don't have anything else to say. This is the shortest in perspective episode that I'm probably gonna do. But I just wanted to speak on it and kind of still like bring it up, because if I didn't, I would have gone crazy and I would have been very upset, because this has been something that's been bothering me, is because I just haven't had much inspiration to do anything recently. So hopefully that'll change soon, and hopefully in the next podcast episode of In Perspective, there will be a more concrete and more a better topic to talk about that's more positive and a little bit more useful for a viewer to listen to. Because right now I've written down things I want to talk about, but I've already ran out of things to talk about, because nothing's happened recently to where I can really like update everyone on what's going on, and also new topics to talk about, other than the fact I'm low on inspiration. So with that being said, not gonna lie, I did kind of motivate myself to go out, but when I wake up tomorrow, am I gonna feel that way? Who knows? But yeah, with that being said, running on 22 minutes, I was kind of trying to hope to aim to 30, but I don't have anything to fill in for another 8 minutes. So with that being said, this has been In Perspective. I'm going to end this one very short. I'm very sorry, but hopefully it was still relatable to a sense, and hopefully if you're in a slump like me, or you have been feeling uninspired, hopefully you'll come up with ideas like me with the whole cross country trip with my friends. I really want to do that as and it's not going to be an idea. It's going to happen eventually. It's just a matter of when. But with that being said, this is going to be the end of today's episode. And I'm really hoping on the next episode, either it'll be about Michael the Stapler, or it'll be about something positive that's happened in my photography career that I can speak about and hopefully motivate and inspire others. So with that being said, thank you for listening to In Perspective. This is Tyler. I think I had an outro before, but I don't remember it. But yeah, thanks for listening. Yeah, this was In Perspective. So thanks for listening. Bye.